You know that feeling when you see an image that seems to speak directly to you, but not in any language you actually know? Well, today, we're going to dive into a collection of sacred art that does exactly that. Think of it as a journey beyond words into a visual world of pure form, color, and what really feels like pure intention.
Just take a second and soak this one in. It's called the Blue Lotus Aura Monadic Passage. You let your eyes just drift along with the lines, the way the colors seem to almost breathe, and that incredible intricate symmetry. There's this amazing balance here, right? It feels both mathematically perfect and somehow wonderfully alive. So that's the big question, isn't it? What kind of visual system are we actually looking at here? These images aren't just pretty pictures of things we recognize. They seem to be their own complete system. So we're going to explore them, not by trying to read them, but by discovering the patterns that make them tick. To get a handle on this language, we've got to start with its alphabet. And for this art, that means a core series called the Veca codes. This is where the whole system's logic starts to show itself, building up from the simplest little shapes into something incredibly complex. Okay, here it is, the first letter, Vesica 1, the Veca code. It's so beautifully simple. Just two circles intersecting to create that almond shape in the middle, the Vesica Piscis, holding one cryptic little symbol. It feels clean, fundamental. This is our ground zero.
Now watch what happens. This is Veca 2, the Tri-Veca code. Just by adding one more circle, the geometry in that central space gets way more complex and a new symbol pops up inside. You can already see it happening, a clear evolution of that first simple idea. And by Veca 3, the Veca code, the vocabulary is expanding again. Now there's a triangle framing the whole thing, and if you look closely, you can see more distinct, almost script-like symbols showing up. So the system isn't just adding shapes, it's layering on new information.
All right, let's just jump way ahead to Veca 9, the RashalAe code. And wow, the change is just astonishing. Those simple circles have blossomed into this perfectly balanced six-pointed star. And inside is an entire mandala filled with its own complex symbols. The grammar of this language is getting seriously sophisticated. Seeing them side by side like this really hits it home. You go from the simple whisper of Veca 1 to this absolute symphony in Veca 9. It just brilliantly shows how a single basic visual idea can grow and evolve and just bloom into something profoundly intricate. So, we've seen the rigorous, almost mathematical side of the Veca codes. But this language isn't all straight lines and sharp angles. It's got a softer side too, one that's way more fluid, more organic, and seems to be aimed right at our emotions.
Check these two out. On the left is the inner flame, and on the right, the core flame. Now, they've got that same basic leaf-like shape, but what a difference in personality, right? The inner flame is cool, it's serene with all those blues and silvers, but the core flame, it just bursts with this rainbow of energy. It's like seeing two totally different feelings expressed through the exact same symbol.
And then we have this piece with the absolutely wonderful and, yeah, quite a mouthful, title of the Uljuria Rashitan Feel-Good Code. It just radiates outward like a flower in bloom. The soft glow, those pastel colors, and of course that name, it all points directly to an emotional experience. This isn't just geometry. This is art designed to make you feel good. So what happens when you take that strict geometry we saw earlier and you combine it with this expressive, emotional use of color? Well, you get to the most complex forms in the whole collection, what the source material calls healing mandalas.
These are the left-hand and right-hand master healing codes. I mean, the sheer density of information here is just staggering. Each one is like its own self-contained universe of patterns and symbols and precise little divisions. It's almost overwhelming, like a visual symphony, where every single note has its perfect place.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Nothing feels accidental. Every tiny curve, every choice of color, every single line, it all seems to hold a specific place and have a very distinct purpose. It all points to this profound sense of intention, a belief that these images are doing something more than just looking beautiful. Okay, so let's pull all these different threads together. We've gone from a simple alphabet of shapes to a rich vocabulary of color and emotion, and it all leads up to these incredibly complex statements of purpose.
We've seen how this language is built on a powerful and structured geometry.
How it then marries that structure with vibrant emotional color.
infusing the entire thing with a radiant sense of light.
All of it guided by what feels like a clear and profound intention.
When you combine those four elements, you don't just get art, you get a visual language. It's a system that's designed not to be read like a book, but to be felt and experienced directly, communicating through its harmony, its energy, and its perfect symmetry. Which really leaves us with one final thought. We live in a world that is just saturated with words, right? But looking at these images, you have to wonder, in its purest, most abstract form, can a symbol sometimes speak even louder, and maybe more directly to us than words ever could?